Hey, good morning everybody. Welcome back to another video. I apologize if I look kind of tired. I actually just woke up, but I felt really inspired and motivated to shoot this video, so here we are. For those of you that have been following this channel, you know that I was planning on filming Orono earlier this week, and I was going to shoot Orono on the nicer days, but I had things come up, and so I would rather wait until it's nicer again outside to shoot instead of gloomy and cloudy as it is currently right now in the Twin Cities. So I promise that'll be coming soon, but instead I thought it would be a fun idea to go through and rank the best areas to live in the Twin Cities. Of course, I'll be talking about the West Metro areas because those are the areas I'm most familiar with, but also because I truly do believe that the western suburbs offer some of the best living in the Twin Cities. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I put out virtual tour videos of the western areas. So I'll be talking about those areas plus a couple others that I haven't shot video of. And I'm going to rank them based on factors of home prices, crime, schools, major employers, and of course my own personal opinion because I've lived in the Twin Cities for almost 15 years now. With that being said, if you're looking to move to any of these areas or anywhere in the Twin Cities, make sure you reach out to me. All of my contact information is in the description below, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have or help you get started on the process. At the very least, remember to subscribe so that you never miss a video and you don't miss my really cool virtual tour videos that I have coming up. With all that out of the way, the first factor we'll look at is home price, and the first place we'll take a look at is Plymouth. So what you're looking at here is a monthly market update provided by the Minneapolis area realtors. This is all public information that you can find online, and I know it can look intimidating at first, but all we're really going to focus on here is this, the median sales price. And so if you look at November of 2020, you can see right here that 50% of homes were sold below the sales price of $407,500 and 50% of homes were sold above that price. We're also going to look at the rolling 12 months for 2020, which is essentially between November 2020 and October of 2019. That is the rolling 12 or the past 12 months. And so same thing, 50% were sold below this price and 50% were sold above that price. Also, before we go further, if you have any data related questions, be sure to reach out to me. I know this stuff can look kind of confusing, but I promise I'm just gonna use this report for Plymouth and then show you the median prices for all the other places and make it easy to understand. So one other important thing to consider is that the median sales price and the average sales price are both heavily influenced by the number of closed sales. In other words, the sample size of closed sales in Plymouth is 135, whereas for the past 12 months it was 1,577. When the sample size is smaller, it can sometimes make the data a little bit more extreme. The last thing I want to point out in this infographic is this, the inventory of homes for sale. So you'll see in November 2019, that number was at 255 for Plymouth, whereas in 2020, it was at 94. When there's lower inventory, we call that a seller's market. And what that essentially means is that there is a higher demand of people wanting to buy than there are people wanting to sell their home. And so the people that are wanting to sell their home can increase their prices more. This explains why in the past 12 months, the median sales price went from $390,000 up to $407,000 in Plymouth. I think that with the trend of people wanting to move out of populated cities into more spacious suburbs, that this median sales price is only gonna continue to climb. Okay, I know I was kind of going off on a little bit of a data tangent there, but at least now you can see how these numbers get influenced. I'm gonna show you the November and rolling 12 median sales price for all the areas we're looking at today. So again, the median sales price for the month of November in Plymouth sits at $407,500. The rolling 12 median sales price is $390,000. We also have Maple Grove, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Edina, Orono, and Wayzata. You can see that with the exception of Maple Grove and Orono, that all of the areas increased in median sales price between the rolling 12 months and the month of November. Okay, one more thing I wanted to quickly add is a visual explaining the trend with inventory in these areas. And so this is a graph that only realtors can access, but if you look at the months of October and November of 2020 in Plymouth, Maple Grove, Minnetonka, and Eden Prairie, you'll see that the number of homes for sale decreased in all of these areas. Obviously, coronavirus is a major factor for this, but inventory tends to drop closer to winter. You know, people are buckling down for the winter and would rather wait till the spring to sell their home. But that's all the information we need as far as ranking all of these areas based on home prices. As you can see, Maple Grove is the most affordable out of all of these places. At the end of the day, they're all great places to live. Crime. So with crime, I could go into talking about each area's crime index, which is all public information that you can find on websites like Neighborhood Scout. But honestly, all of these areas are really safe areas, and crime isn't going to be factored into the rankings. So next, let's get into talking about the schools. So I researched all of these areas' school districts and their high schools and came up with some interesting points that we're going to use to help rank these areas based on schools. So we'll start with Plymouth, which includes Wayzata High School with 3,342 students. Niche.com ranked Wayzata High School an A+, and Wayzata Public Schools MCA scores are among the highest in the state. Wayzata's ACT scores also routinely exceed the state and national averages. Next, we have Maple Grove. US News ranked Maple Grove High School a 92.91 out of 100, which is a really, really good score. They have a total class size of about 2,400 students, and Niche.com gave Maple Grove High School an A. Third, Minnetonka. Niche.com gave Minnetonka High School an A+. They have a 27.7 average for the ACT, which is really high. And their total class size at Minnetonka is composed of 3,311 students. So again, a really big high school like the rest of these high schools, but I believe Wayzata High School is still the largest high school in Minnesota. That could have changed within the past couple of years, but they're all really big schools. Fourth, Eden Prairie. Niche.com gave Eden Prairie an A+, and they have a total class size of about 3,000 students. US News and World Report ranked Eden Prairie High School a 90.27 out of 100. Fifth, we have Edina, and US News ranked Edina High School top 10 in Minnesota public schools. USA Today ranked Edina the top school for student success in Minnesota. Newsweek also ranked Edina in the top 500 of America's best STEM high schools, and there's about 2,670 total students at Edina High School. Lastly, we have Orono, which got an A+ from Niche.com, and they have a smaller class size. It's about 935 9th grade through 12th grade students. So that's all the information we need for ranking these areas based on schools. Keep in mind that all of these areas have really great schools, and they are much better than many of the other schools in Minnesota and across the country. All of them would be excellent choices to send your kids to. So we're gonna go over the top 3 rankings for home prices and schools in all of these areas right after we discuss the major employers in each area. Again, I did a bunch of research on all of these areas and their top major employers, and this is what I came up with. So for Plymouth, which is located 12 miles west of the cities, the top employers are the Mosaic Company, One Beacon Insurance Group, and Christopher and Banks. Maple Grove is located 17 miles northwest of Minneapolis, and their major employers include the Boston Scientific Corporation, Upshur Smith Laboratories, and Osseo area schools. Minnetonka is located 8 miles west of Minneapolis, and their top employers include United Health Group, Carlson, The Marsh, and Medica Health Plans. Eden Prairie is located 18 miles southwest of Minneapolis, and their top employers include C.H. Robinson Worldwide, Super Value Stores, Starkey Labs, and LifeTouch. Edina is located 11 miles southwest, more southish of Minneapolis, and their top employers include Edina Realty, Spartan Nash, and Fairview Southdale Hospital. Wayzata is located 14 miles west of Minneapolis, and their top employer includes Cargill. Now, Cargill could be included in Minnetonka employers, but since it has a Wayzata address, I included it with Wayzata. Orono is located 18 miles west of Minneapolis, but they don't really have any major employers out there. It's more of just quiet neighborhoods. All right, now let's rank the areas based on home price, affordability, and overall quality of neighborhoods. So at number 3, we have Maple Grove. At number 2, we have Minnetonka. And at number 1 for best area to live in the Twin Cities based on home price, we have Plymouth, Minnesota. I actually have virtual tours for all of those areas, so if any of those areas interest you, be sure to go check out my virtual tour for any of those places on my channel. Next, we're gonna rank the schools, and again, this is really difficult because all of these schools are really, really good. But this video is all about ranking them, so here we go. At number 3, I have Wayzata Public Schools. At number 2, Minnetonka Public Schools. And at number 1 for best area to live in the Twin Cities based off of schools is Edina. There's always going to be speculation on what schools are the best depending on what area you're from in Minnesota. But at the end of the day, they're all really great schools, and especially these 3 schools closely compete for the top 3 spots. Lastly, we're going to rank the areas in terms of top employers. So at number 3, we have Maple Grove with Upshur Smith, Boston Scientific, and Osseo area schools. At number 2, we have Eden Prairie with C.H. Robinson Worldwide, Super Value Stores, and LifeTouch. And at number 1 for best area to live in the Twin Cities based off of top employers, we have Minnetonka with United Health Group, Carlson, The Marsh, Medica Health Plans, and Cargill if you want to include that as part of Minnetonka. So what is the best overall area to live in the Twin Cities? Well, I'll leave that up to you. They all have their perks and advantages, and I hope this video brought you some insight on the analytical side when it comes to researching the western suburbs. My top pick, I would probably go with Plymouth. I grew up in Wayzata, and that's where I would start looking if I were moving to Minnesota. And if you're ready to start looking, be sure to reach out to me. I've lived in the Twin Cities for almost 15 years now, and I'd be excited to work with you or answer any questions that you might have about any area in the Twin Cities. Again, if you have any more data-related questions, I would be happy to send some answers your way. But otherwise, remember to subscribe, and we will see you next time. Peace.